Como puertorriqueño uno se siente con las manos atadas. A veces uno no duerme, a veces uno sale pensando, o sea, pensando en ello, qué va a pasar. Es una situación bien frustrante, tanto aquí como allá, y el no poder estar cerca, el no poder decir lo que se acabó, el no saber cuánto tiempo más, el no saber si vamos a estar un año más en esto, un mes, la incertidumbre. Como puertorriqueña, pues, aquí y allá me siento en el mismo barco, con las manos cruzadas.
The opportunity came along in January and I took it. I became a fourth and fifth grade Spanish teacher at the Holyoke Community Charter School. And just as I was celebrating this achievement and preparing myself for the challenges that this would bring, my family in Puerto Rico was struggling with earthquakes. And, you know, they've had it hard already. Beginning of January, the biggest earthquake in a long time hit our precious island. And I grew up in a mountain, and there are huge boulders like near the top of the mountain that were visibly scary, and the earthquake just caused them to roll down the mountain and down my childhood home. I was very excited for myself and for these challenges that I was facing as a teacher, but also very scared for my family in Puerto Rico. Through this whole process, we start hearing about this COVID-19. We start hearing about this pandemic. And I think at first, like a lot of us, I was just skeptical and I was just like, no, it's not gonna come here. That's not gonna affect us. I think mostly because I didn't have the attention for it. I was just so scared and so stressed about everything going on in my life already. One day we were in the classroom, and the next we got a phone call, and we were told that the school was canceled. Um, First it was 2 weeks, I think, and then it was 3 more weeks, and then till the end of the year. And just like that, I didn't get to say goodbye to my first group of kids.
Al cambiarlo del salón, de ser una clase física a ser por computadora, la participación fue menos. Ahí el estrés como maestra, pues, fue aumentando. Y yo como maestra me sentí como que no estaba dando el 100, no porque no estaba haciendo mi trabajo, sino porque no tenía ese contacto físico con los estudiantes. Y la participación, el no tener esa participación que yo esperaba, pues como que me daba más estrés todavía, como que no fue fácil, no.
It's interesting because I work from home already. Like I was already on Zoom meetings all day anyway, so some of that isn't a change at all. But now I have my son. I'm a single parent. I'm a widowed single parent. So Daniel and I are here alone. He's 8 years old. Um, Suddenly I'm trying to work 8 hours a day and be a parent at the same time, and it's not possible to do that.
Tengo un teenager, eh, va para noveno grado y obviamente me preocupaba mucho, me preocupaba que él se fuera a echar para atrás, que no, ¿sabe? Como que no le importara o que se atrasara.
At the beginning, it was really different and weird, and it was pretty hard because sometimes the assignments wouldn't work because of technical difficulties. But then after a while, it got better.
Y como pues yo estaba trabajando, a la misma vez que él estaba haciendo sus meetings, pues no podía darle yo esa estructura que él tenía del salón. Básicamente, pues los dos estábamos en el mismo barco, estrés con estrés, y los dos balanceando los meetings, las llamadas y todo eso.
So we've had to figure out how to make it work. I don't get to work as much as I want or in as focused a way as I want. He doesn't get as much time with me as he wants. I don't get as much time with him as I want. and just nobody's really satisfied. We're not sick, that's great. I have a job, that's great. Like, we could be in a worse position, but it's not easy. It's not an easy time for single parents. I've been talking to a lot of my friends who are single parents. It's pretty rough. Whether you're working or not, it's hard. All of the options are hard.
No tener esa comunicación física que siempre he tenido con los estudiantes fue difícil. Es que todo va a terminar difícil porque cuando tú eres maestra, tú siempre quieres dar más del 100 y siempre se da más del 100 y no se dio.
School has been a really great place for him. He's at Ian White in the dual language program, and he really loves that. I mean, I think they chose a good time to close. They didn't wait too long to close. That was good. Appreciate that. They did their best to kind of scramble and put together some kind of an option. And the main thing was making sure everybody had a device before they start doing online classes. So that was more important, you know, but eventually we had some online stuff and it was okay. It's not as good. An hour of websites a day isn't the same as being in a room full of kids with teachers. It can't be.
What's the biggest thing you miss that you feel like you used to be able to do, but you can't do now because of COVID?
Going to school.
En la escuela sí es la opción de que podemos seguir enseñando de una manera más estructurada, con más guía, y se puede hacer de la casa, pues obviamente yo estaría, ¿sabes?, escogiendo esa opción. ¿Por qué? Porque sigo protegiéndome, sigo protegiendo a mi hijo y sigo protegiendo a mis estudiantes. Una de las cosas que me preocupa es que hay gente que no le dan los síntomas, y muchos de los niños que he leído que le han dado, o sea, que han tenido el virus, no presentan ningún síntoma. Ir a la escuela no lo encuentro seguro. Ir 2 días sí, 2 días no, vamos con la misma preocupación porque hay que ir a la escuela, vas a estar expuesto a otras personas. Y nada, es una incertidumbre, es algo que todos los días uno se levanta y lee las noticias y qué va a pasar y van a retrasar 2 semanas, pero 2 semanas ¿para qué? O sea, que todavía ellos no tienen un plan y eso pues se entiende, pero nosotros no estar seguros tampoco de qué es lo que va a pasar, pues el estrés ya empieza, o sea, falta, qué sé yo, 3 semanas y ya no estás pensando cómo vamos a hacerlo, porque obviamente tú quieres proteger a tus estudiantes, pero tu familia también.
You know, the 2 days on, 3 days online sounds really good. I'd love to have them in there at school. I'd love to have some time to work. But if COVID comes raging back, which it so totally could, then that falls apart. And I'd rather have something I can predict. It's easier for me, for my work, to have something I can predict from the beginning. So if we have online and we just set something up to make that work. So we're meeting with, it's probably going to be like 5 families. We have 3 or 4 confirmed right now, where the kids will get together each day of the week. They'll go to somebody's house for half a day, and that grown-up will like hang out with them while they do their individual online homework. So they get a little supervision, do a couple fun activities or something, you know, so they get a little time with other kids. So there's like trying to find a medium where there's some contact with kids, which they need, and some supervision of their learning, which they need, without having too many people in the mix and too much virus exposure and stuff. I would almost love to see this city like help families do that. Help families figure out, here's guidelines for how you might do this, and here's some tools for how you might do this. Because doing it by yourself is just like thinking about, and in February when it's going to be freezing cold outside and stuff, you know, people are going to be going crazy. So it's going to be hard. We're just getting ready. Maybe a vaccine comes and everybody can go back to school, and that would be great. We would love that. But we can't plan on that, you know. That was the hardest part, has really been the like not being able to plan from week to week what's going to happen. So we'll have a little structure. I imagine for teachers that's been very hard too.
We are left kind of like in a standstill at the moment. I've heard from a lot of teachers that lost their jobs. Nobody really knows what's going on or how things are going to go down when the next academic school year starts. And Either way we do it, I think it's going to be more challenging than it's ever been.
I teach college classes sometimes, and like, you can't just put together a brand new curriculum in like a month, right? It's like the first year teaching is the most brutal thing I've ever seen anyone do, you know? And then to not only be having to come up with something new, but in a totally new format. If you've never taught online before, you need time to prepare for that. How are you gonna prepare for that? You can't just do that. You can't just do that out of nowhere. So it would have been great in some ways if a task force started on this like back in February, thinking like September is going to come, what are we going to do, right? And everybody was kind of hoping it would go away. Good online instruction for Daniel will be in third grade, you know, that's a really hard thing to figure out how to do. I saw the Zoom calls that they did last year, and like, how do you keep all those doing a Zoom call with grown-ups is really hard. You know, getting a bunch of like little kids to do that and like pay attention, let alone learn something is, you know, that's a huge challenge. So I have great respect for people who are trying to figure out how to do that.
Que si me pasa algo, yo soy adulta, pero no al nene. Eso es lo que yo tengo. Tú sabes.
Si te pidieran que fueses a trabajar hoy, iría.
Necesito un trabajo, porque con ese trabajo es que le doy lo que mi hijo necesita. Pero si tengo que viajar, ¿sabes? Tengo que ir al trabajo, pues tengo que hacerlo, porque es mi sustento, son mis habichuelas. Pero si me dices, tienes que enviar al nene, y obviamente si yo tengo que ir a trabajar, pues ya tú sabes el protocolo, la ropa afuera, olvídate, hay un garaje, me desvisto en el garaje, tú sabes, tomando las medidas, pero ¿cómo yo voy a poder balancear el estrés, la educación, el proyectarle a ellos todo va a estar bien cuando yo estoy asustada? No sé, de verdad que no. Hay que dejarlo, pues, que todo fluya, pero la preocupación está ahí, está intacta, eso es día a día. Eso no sé qué va a pasar.
I'm scared to go back. I trust my admin team, and I trust that they are doing the best they can do, and I trust that we are all doing the best we can do to stay safe and healthy, and you know, to take on this challenge no matter how it comes. What makes me angry is the people out there saying that we are lazy, that we don't want to go back to work, that we don't care about our children, when that's not true. We care about our children very, very much, and we want to see them succeed, and we want them to be well, but we want this to be done in a safe way. We want them to be safe, we want their families to be safe, and we want us to be safe.